Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about pregnancy after adoption, my personal journey, as well as general considerations for family planning after you've had a successful adoption. Now, I do want to kind of address the elephant in the room before we take a deep dive into this subject. It has been a very long time since I have posted a video here on my channel on YouTube. Several of you have been so sweet and commented asking where we were and if we were going to make more videos. I've replied back to several of you letting you know, like, hey, there are more videos coming, and I am sorry that you've had to wait this long. It definitely was not my plan to take this long of an extended break, but some things just kind of happened in our lives. So I did want to kind of share with you kind of why that break happened. At the time, I was working as a teacher in a pandemic, which is a very difficult situation. I had a lot of work on my plate, and honestly, my mental health kind of needed a break. And so I had to cut back on a few things, and YouTube was one of the things that I could cut back on. So part of it was me just needing a mental health break, getting less off my plate. Another part of it was it happened just a few months after we had successfully finished our adoption with DARIAN. We were enjoying that as a family, and we also didn't have a lot of content to make foster care and adoptive related since we had kind of just wrapped that up. So I felt like I didn't have as much content to make. I needed a mental health break, and we were just enjoying our time as a family. Now, the reason that it has gone on so long is because we had decided to grow our family, and we were dealing with some of the ups and downs of that decision, which is actually what we are going to be talking about today. So just after we adopted DARIAN, and for those of you who are new, I did foster DARIAN for a while out of foster care. When he was over 2, we adopted, and now he's going to be almost 4 this summer. So just a few months after we finished his adoption, he was about 2.5, and we knew that we wanted to grow our family. And I knew that I wanted him to have a sibling. Both me and Ryan came from big families, and we knew that we wanted him to know the joy of having a sibling. Now, obviously, if you're someone who's considering this yourself, maybe you've finished adoption and you're thinking about continuing to grow your family either through pregnancy or adoption, definitely some things to consider. Things that we talked about was age gap, kind of how long do we want between kids, what method we wanted to go with, whether or not we wanted to foster or adopt again, or whether or not we wanted to have a biological child. And also just the personality and kind of the dynamics of the child. I think, the older the child, the more complicated this could be. If you adopted a child who was much older, they may have some other feelings and traumas and things surrounding the growth of your family. So definitely this is very dependent on your family and your child and how you think that this will go with them. But we talked with DARIAN a lot about, how would you feel about having, a brother or a sister and having a baby around the house. And, we thought that it was the right time and that he was, definitely mentally and physically ready to be a big brother. So the next part that we talked about was kind of age gap. How much long do we want in between siblings? For me, I thought closer was better for the most part. I heard that having another child like around the 2-year-old stage is kind of bad because it's like the peak of sibling jealousy. But obviously I didn't have the choice to have them even closer together than that. So I thought maybe a 3 to 3.5 year age gap would be about perfect for us. Because I wanted him to have a sibling that was close enough in age that they could really play together. But at that point, DARIAN would be very independent and confident in his role as the oldest. So that was kind of our process in thinking that. It also worked out really nicely because DARIAN will be starting pre-K this fall, and so he'll be kind of leaving daycare and going into pre-K because we are a 2-parent working family. And that way, the next child would be starting daycare and they wouldn't have 2 kids in daycare at once, which can be very, very expensive. So that was another thought, was kind of the financial aspect of this. And then the final thought was, do we want to have a biological child or do we want to foster to adopt? We really went back and forth on this. I still really have it in my heart and really want to continue to foster. I really would love to adopt again, but really the main reason we decided not to was we knew, we know that fostering and, adopting is a gamble. You never know if it's going to work out. You never know if the child will become adoptable. And, it could take years and years and years for that to happen. We got very, very, very lucky, that we were able to adopt Darian, and my first placement ended up being adoptable, and that was wonderful, but that is not always how it goes. And it shouldn't always go that way. There are many, 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 times where the child should be returned to their biological family, always if possible. So knowing that, we really thought that going the biological route was, really the only way to give Darian a guaranteed sibling that was going to be close in his age, because we knew that the other route could just take so long. So that's what we ended up going with, is doing the biological route. It definitely was not as simple as I thought it would be. I think you always think that you're going to have, a very easy time getting pregnant and staying pregnant and all of that. And that didn't end up being as easy of a journey as we had hoped, which is another one of the reasons we had such an extended leave here on YouTube, as we were dealing with some fertility things, which I'll share in another video. But we did eventually end up having a successful pregnancy, and we actually had a baby boy. So we have some family news to share with you guys. Our baby boy, we named him Everest, and he is now 3 months old. And Darian has just been loving him. He tells me all the time, he's so cute, and just loves playing with him, loves holding him. He's the best big brother. It's been so heartwarming to see the two of them together. So I've really, really enjoyed getting to see them bond as brothers, and I love that they're going to be not too far apart. They ended up with exactly about a 3.5-year age gap. Darian will be 4 this summer, and I think it's just going to be a really, really good fit for both of them. So yeah, that is kind of our family news, what we've been going through, kind of our experience doing pregnancy after adoption. We did talk to Darian a lot about the change. We read lots of books to him, kind of discussed what was going to happen. So we made sure to keep him involved in the process as much as possible. I did not have the easiest pregnancy. I was sick a lot of the time, so that's another thing to consider too. When you already have a child and considering going through this pregnancy and fertility, all of that is not always as easy of a journey as the movies make it seem, so to speak. So just be prepared for any of that if you're deciding to go through this with your family. And we are excited to be sharing this new next part of our journey with you guys. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you like this kind of content, and I will see you guys in my next video.